Going live. And then today our topic is going to be how to set goals and achieve them. For anybody that is here currently on our live for Twitch, we're going to cover like the subjects on the screen, uh, and then kind of go from there. But best way that we can kind of like start it off is why don't you start with some of your goals, and then I'll start with some of mine, and then we'll kind of like relate to other people and go over the topics and things. So like what's a goal that you're working for, and do you have like a plan for it, uh etc.
Yeah, no, of course. So one thing that I'm currently still working on, which you're aware of, is my first book. Something that I'll, of course, share along the way as we go through our journey here. But
Mhm.
in the meantime, yeah, I mean, it's been one of those things where It's not that I'm not ready to publish it or holding back. I've always felt like there's just something there that I'm not seeing, that I might be missing, that is keeping me from, okay, this is the goal achieved. And so that goal, for the most part, I think it's in its final steps. And this is how I transition to, see where we go from there, from the topic. But one thing that I set myself to do within that goal itself, so set goals within goals, is share your vision with, whether it be, good company, friends, family, like whoever you entrust. It's not for everybody, but when you do that, you open up these extra pathways in regards to where your goal is, meant to go, or where you want it to go. And those opinions, those criticisms, those approaches, those ideas that people share with you when you tell them your goals or you share them your book, sometimes they're priceless. It could be something as simple as, oh, I can't really see this font here. Have you thought about underlining it? Have you thought about bolding it? Have you thought about changing the color? And
Oh yeah.
that's what's happened to me recently with my book. And I'm going through a whole nother um, editing process. But yeah, I'm seeing the difference. Something as simple as changing the colors of the titles, changing the fonts, underlining things. It just makes it easier on the eyes. You flow right through it. And book or not, that's a good thing to do with goals. So main
Absolutely.
theme: have goals within the goals.
Yep. That way they just kind of like stack off top of each other, because if you just make a goal
Right.
and you don't have goals inside of the goals, then you won't take steps in order to matter in the matter of achieving that goal. And that's kind of some things that as a younger man I definitely lacked, and was having multiple steps in order to achieve that goal. So yeah, goals within goals is a real good cover on it. I would say something that I'm working towards is a couple different things, honestly. One of them is business related, cuz obviously I have my small business, and then I'm trying to work towards home. Um honestly, like I kind of put back a lot of my goals for a while, but I'm about to step back into them with it being like winter time, and just having that time off is a really big thing, especially when you're coming into spring. Uh, it's weird because when I sit around for too long, I start to get like super motivated to go out and achieve something. So it's almost like my body telling me like, "Hey, you had a really long year. Take like a month off, and then you're gonna go hard again for spring, summer, and fall." So I'm getting ready to come into my goal pattern, which I haven't really thought too much about it, but honestly, I can just throw it off the top here. But what my expectation of myself is to getting into a home, because I'm in an apartment right now, so I'm trying to get into whether it might be a mobile home or a house. We're aiming to go into the mobile home, and the processes of that are for what you said, like the goals inside the goals would be me moving into furthering the business. That way, the income and the stability is growing exponentially, because we have until basically June until we move out. So we got about 5 months, full 5 months, 4.5 months until we start moving into that. So, which brings us to our main topic, which we aren't really covering ourselves, but anybody else that's trying to make goals or or anything along those lines, we can go move into, are you motivated? So for me, the biggest thing to me is when I'm trying to get motivated for a goal, are you healthy? Are you exercising? Exercising? Are you? Is there anything that you're doing to motivate yourself to start working towards those goals? And you can kind of take it from there and tell us what some of those things could get you motivated to do. Just like I mentioned, with like maybe exercise or whatnot.
Right. So here's where I'm gonna go ahead and invite everybody to check out the YouTube channel too. We have a prior video we put out yesterday actually, and those will be coming in often. But it covered testosterone and what is its effects on males and the mentality and psychology and utilizing that and so on and so forth.
Yeah, the YouTube's
But
down
in
in
regards to goals,
the YouTube's
yeah,
down in the
if
About
you
Me
link it
section. Yeah,
on here,
it's
yeah,
down
if
in
you
the
link it
About Me,
on here,
on
that'd be
the
great.
blah blah blah. Sorry to interrupt you. It's in the About Me section on Twitch and the Twitch
Yeah.
panel. So all you have to do is just click on the Twitch panel. It takes you right there.
All right. Yeah. So there we go. So make sure you guys follow us there. But overall, the thing with motivation is somewhere along the same lines too, where whether it be testosterone, chemistry, mentality, psychology, whatever it may be. One thing I will say about motivation is that you it's not that you either have it or don't. It's that it's a constant practice of where you want to be, and that has to do with visualizing. And to me, visualization comes from a place that doesn't exist. It's in your head. There, no one can see in your head. No one can put things into your head sharp enough for you to see them the way you want to see them.
Exactly.
Whether it be, oh, you look a certain way. Yeah, you'll probably picture yourself in your head the way that you think they do, but if they try to really fine tune what they want you to see in your own head, it's not going to happen. Like you have control over your own vision in your own mind, and that's where motivation is most important. Is visualize where you want to be, um, how those little goals kind of play out. Whether it be thinking about the process of how I get to this small goal before the big goal, and so on and so forth. If you really make a habit out of visualizing a bunch of different pathways within that goal, you just kind of pick and choose along the way when it's appropriate, you could say, or the opportunity is there. um and one thing about motivation too is, um yeah, like I said, be careful with who you share it or who you do tell. They can make or break those visions. So another thing is that I'll close off with on that is, never take criticism, even if it is directly to criticize you. Don't ever take it personal, because it goes back to the same thing. Whatever anybody tells you, you're the one that lets it into your mind, into your emotions, and once that kicks in, like I said, it makes or breaks. So fortify that, fortify the mind, fortify the emotions, and you'll be unstoppable.
Absolutely. And that kind of like intersects with like, are you motivated, and to do you have good people around you? So when you're sitting there talking about motivation and creating an image in your mind, and not letting other people affect that image, and that kind of comes into, do you have good people around you? Which I'll start off on that. So I always intersect like motivation and people. Like, are you good with yourself? Are you good with the people around you? Or do you sleep on the couch and someone tells you that you're not good enough? Or are there people that are affecting the way that you feel about your goals? So if you do have that issue, you need to either A, if they're people that you care about and you obviously can't exclude them from your life, make your mind bulletproof. So just like Jovan was talking about with the image, make that image bulletproof. Do not let someone tell you a goal that you're working for is not right, it's not good enough, you can't achieve it, or you'll never achieve it. And that comes down to, like I said, do you have good people around you? Who are the people in your life that you have that are helping you achieve that goal, or telling you like words of affirmation? Are you good and are you're doing a great job? You can do it. Like, oh, don't stop there. Aim and achieve further, or people that help you towards those goals in life. And it's really important because I've had people in my past that I was pursuing goals like mixed martial arts, and I always had the wrong people around me. Everybody that I tried to interact with, they wouldn't necessarily tell me that I couldn't do it, but you could tell that these people weren't necessarily in my corner. They weren't there for me. They weren't there to help me further my goals. They were there for themselves, and I was paying these people to try to help me get better towards a goal, but they just wanted the money rather than to see me exceed. So having the right people around you, even if it's just yourself and all you need is yourself, is important. Like, this is the one, to me, on my goal pattern, this is my number one go to. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, yeah, man, you nailed it. I mean, it's one of those things where I feel like you learn it along the way as you get older too. You kind of build this sense of wisdom with who's good for me, who's not good for me, and what do they contribute. So what I'll add to that, I guess, to
Yeah,
close that part of the topic is learn to let go. Don't be afraid to let go. Don't be afraid to lose others. Don't be afraid to lose in general, because those pathways towards your goals are also full of detours and failures and obstacles and fears and doubts. But that's just it. And it goes back to, are you motivated? Now, let's say that there is issues that come along the way. Oh, money, not enough business, who knows? As long as you stay in your mind visualizing and seeing nothing but the success, you'll just make a different path. You'll come up with a different idea, a different approach, and that mentality is what carries the motivation, even regardless of, like I said, the chemistry or people around you. But like I said, don't be afraid to let go of people that don't serve you or that are no
exactly.
good for you. And to close off on that, what it comes down to on that is those people are a reflection of you. Who you spend your time with and who you allow into your world is also a mirror of where you're meeting these people based on how you're conducting your life. So you're meeting those people in environments and in mentalities that you associate with. It's like I said about the testosterone topic yesterday. If you go to a gym and you're there to work out and you're surrounded by people that are, I don't know, they're just not particularly high standard people. They're
Yeah,
not high class people. Those people are matching your mentality, your standard in life. So if you want to go past that, you don't want to live with those type of those type of environments and those type of people, you have to upgrade the gym or go work out somewhere differently, but don't stay in those environments and around those people because they keep on reflecting back at you. And before you know it, you're caught up in this cycle, in this trap of um, your own decisions just looping into themselves. So yeah, learn to let go. That's it.
absolutely. So that moves us into are your goals realistic? When I think about this, it's like, are you are you setting goals for yourself that have like realistic expectations? Are you trying to be obviously you can't go and fucking make a trip to the moon, right? Like, maybe you can, I don't know, but I know that that goal's unrealistic for me, or whatever. But I don't know necessarily anything to pertain to that's unrealistic right now, because there's been a lot of things that's people have achieved. So I don't want to be a person to sit here and say, hey, your goal's unrealistic. But when I think about a realistic goal for me, something that would be unrealistic is I want to buy a mansion by the end of the year, and I want to be $1 million mansion. Like, I have no idea how to even fathom making $1 million right now, or how that would happen. But that's all a part of like the mindset. So if I sit here and tell myself that I'm not going to make $1 million, I'm obviously not going to make that $1 million. So I guess what it is making a realistic goal is making a goal that you want to do, not a goal that you kind of want, and you're thinking maybe I can do this or maybe not. So make sure it's a goal that's achievable, meaning you want to do this goal. You're going to do everything in your pattern, your day pattern or your life cycle to go out and achieve this goal, because if you're not 100% zoned in on this goal, you won't achieve it. So that's where I kind of say, hey, this is a realistic goal. Um, there's a lot of things that I've done in my life that I wanted to detail cars, and that's a pretty easy thing to kind of set out and do as a goal. But when I was man, I was like 22. I knew nothing about it. I was going and knocking on doors and handing people these pamphlets, this piece of paper that looked like trash almost. And I realized like it was unrealistic. You know, I was giving people a really crappy piece of paper, and I looked at it, and it literally looked like, you know how like newspapers really what is it, like gritty and kind of cheap feeling. I was sitting there using like this paper that was so flimsy and standing outside of a Walmart handing them out to people, and when I actually got calls or people would want me to come and do the work, like I would always show up and I had no idea what I was doing, and they expected me to do it there, and I told them that I had to drive the car back to my house, and it would never work out. It would never intersect correctly. So maybe like realistic goals are planned goals. They're like, you know how you said earlier, making goals on top of your goals. So don't give yourself a unrealistic expectation when you have no plan for it. And I think that's what makes it realistic, is making that plan that gets you to your end result, rather your goal. And I'll close on that.
Yeah, I know exactly that. It's true. I mean, you have to almost have like plan B's and A's and D's or whatever, as many as you want. Just never to a point where like, okay, here's my goal, and it's a straight line, and that's how this I just get to it. Like it just magically comes to be, and that's not reality. That's not realistic. The reality is, and this is how I'm going to narrow this down. Realistic goals come down to being humble and respecting the process. That means to me that if you set a goal, you respect the patience of earning those goals, and that applies to so many things. I mean, everybody goes to the gym. Yeah, you could probably take a bunch of protein and whatever magazines say or your friends say, but that's just it. That's what everybody else says. And your goal is to find out how you want to get to where you envision things, and you respect your body in that process, because your body, just like your mind and your emotions, are completely different from everyone else. And it's about learning what works for you that sets you on the right path to achieving that goal. And as far as being humble, same thing with that is don't be too ambitious, not because you don't deserve it or because it's not realistic, but because you have to be humble in order to allow the opportunities for absolute strangers, absolute random opportunities, situations, circumstances that contribute in an invisible world to your goal. That's how life presents itself in a magical way, per se, and it contributes towards your goals. But you'll miss them if you keep looking at only the end result of your goal. You have to be humble, like I said, and be willing to let people have an input or have a say, or go to that person in the gym that motivates you and just say, hey, but just wanted to say props on your physique. Do you mind giving me some advice? I'm blah blah blah, and just like that, the world opens itself up. Respect the process, be humble, and that's how also pathways open up, and your goal becomes that much more realistic.
Yeah, absolutely. The mindset's like a huge thing. Like if you're there's so many opportunities that you can miss if you want to be better at the gym, and you go in and you look next to the person to the person next to you, and you're like, oh, I hate that person, and he looks better than me, or she looks better than I do, and you feel like you can never look like that person. Don't compare yourself to that person. If you ever have the courage or the mind to walk up to him, just like he said, and ask them, what is your routine? Or like, I couldn't imagine where I would be if I wasn't open minded with my business and like the carpet jobs and people that come to me and say, hey, would you be interested in doing this? So definitely being open minded is huge. And that kind of moves us into our next topic, or our next question on topic is, did you set a date for your goal? I can't even express how important this is, because if you don't, my dad always told me something. My dad never gave me too many good things for advice, but he told me, there was always a car that he wanted, and he took a picture of it and he put it on the wall, and like he hung it like right above his computer, or I think it was his computer, because he was always sitting there, or after work, and he put it up above the computer, and he kept telling himself, I'm gonna have that car, I'm gonna have that car. He ended up getting it. It was like an old 67 Chevy Nova, and he was working on that car, and but he ended up selling it. I think he kind of gave up on it. Doesn't matter, not the point of the process. But having a goal that has a date is so important. So don't make, and that also says, is it realistic? Don't make like, I'm gonna have a mansion tomorrow. You better go get the lottery ticket and pray that you win. Don't actually gamble; it's terrible. But my point is like, don't make it realistic, and set the date. If you want to look a certain way, and you have gym expectations, set a date. Make it realistic. Think about the process and how long it takes. If you want to have a business model, or you're trying to do like an online t-shirt store, and you want to make a certain amount of revenue by that time, a date is so important. I can't even express how important the day is. I want a house on December 1st. Put it in writing, put it in a picture, put it on the wall, look at it every day. Carry a card around in your pocket and write it on there, and put it every time you put your hand down in your pocket to go take that wallet out or your keys out, you touch it and it reminds you of that. It's like, do everything you can to make yourself remember that date you set for your goal, that way you can obtain it.
Yeah, exactly. And setting that date also sets you up for commitment. Well, as opposed to like, oh, it's something I'm working on, or it's something I'm thinking of doing. Those words, those sentences are when they don't have a an attachment to a point in time. So you're already setting yourself up for failure right there. But I will say this, and this is what I'll always kind of link in, is it's either day one or one day. And what you want to do for setting dates is today, day one.
Absolutely. Making the decision to start.
And that's just it.
Yeah.
That's your date. Yeah, that's it. There's the decision to start is setting up it's setting up the path towards an unstoppable future. And that future is, you have a goal, you're starting today, and you're gonna do it again tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day until it just comes to be
Hold that
exactly
thought.
how you envisioned it.
We're on an ad break. I'm sure there's a couple people in here listening, so that breaks another 1:09. So just hold your thought or whatever.
Well, carry it for me. I gotta go get a quick drink because I'm over here parched.
Okay. Well, like I said,
give me a
we're on an ad break, so I'll just pause for a minute and just let it roll.
Yeah, it's good time. Yeah, carry it for me for like a minute. Let me just go get a quick drink.
Yeah, but basically for the video, for YouTube, like I said, setting these a day for your goal, like Jovan said, making the decision to start it is huge. Rather, you want to start today. I want to start tomorrow. Like, making that decision to do it at all is huge. I can't tell you how many times I'm like, hey, I'm gonna do this, but I never make the decision in my mind. I always say, oh, I'll go buy a new cell phone because mine's broke. Like, it has a cracked screen on it. I'll go do it. I'll do it tomorrow. But you don't actually make that decision in your head. You're like, You know how you sit there and you're like, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it next weekend. And then Saturday comes and then you don't do it. And then you're like, I'll do it tomorrow. And you just keep putting it off and you keep putting it off. And then it's like, you know what? I am doing it tomorrow. Like, say it with your chest, put some circumference in it. Put some motivation in your speech. Mean what you say. Have word with meaning. Don't just go and say that, yeah, I'll do it, or, oh, yeah, no, like, you got to make up your mind. You have to want it. You have to want the goal. You really do. I can't tell you how many times that I've made some big mistakes, let me tell you. I really have. I could be in such a further place than I am now if I just got up and said, dude, what are you doing? Just get up and do it. And I sit there and I kind of like look at yourself and be like, just go do it. Don't sit here and procrastinate. But are you back? Oh, he's not back yet. Okay. Well, basically, yeah. Those things are very important. And like I said, I'd be so much further in life and in whole different places. But I'm really happy with the way that things have turned out for me. I'm not trying to make this about my life story. I'm just trying to relate to people that might struggle with getting up and making that decision to go out and chase that goal, and procrastinating, and like I said, having the right people around you, being motivated. Is the goal realistic, and have you set a date for that goal? We're going to move into the next one here soon when he gets back, which is going to be, did you make a plan to achieve that goal? um, this is important too. All these kind of intersect with one another, and how important that is to work towards all of these things, because making goals ain't just one thing. It has a process, it has a pattern. Being motivated is very important. Ambitious, having the right people around you, even if it's just yourself. Um, those making the goal realistic in a manageable process of time, and all those things are very important to come across and keep in mind when you set out to
I'm
achieve this
back.
goal. Awesome, perfect. I was just ending too. I was just basically going into our next topic. Did you make a plan to achieve this goal? I already kind of went over some things and kind of told a story of, if I would have been like making the decision, as you said, if I made that decision to go do it, how much further I would be rather than like procrastinating. So, ending on the topic, did you set a date for your goal, or if you want to intersect and whatever, did you make a plan to achieve this goal? And I'll kind of let you take off from there, and then I'll follow up.
Yeah. So yeah, just to close out on mine really quick. Like I said, it's either day one or one day. Um, this is where I'd like to like put in a clip, but there's a clip in the Rocky movie. Rocky is, he's training for a championship, a title fight, and Mickey, the old man, the trainer, he's like, yeah, Rocky, get in there and really do. He's trying to motivate him.
Yeah,
And Rocky looks kind of worn out. He's probably been training for hours. Who knows in the movie? But Mickey's just pushing him, right?
yeah.
And at
And he
some
didn't want to
point
do it,
in the
did he?
scene, yeah, at some point he just kind of looks down and he looks all kind of like done. And he's like, tomorrow, Mickey, tomorrow.
Yeah,
And he's like, there is no tomorrow. And that's true. There is no tomorrow because
yeah.
tomorrow is in the future. And all you have is today. So, like I said, one day or day one, you start today. That is you already committing to your goal, and the outcome is achieving that goal because you've already started it. You just have to see it through every day, like an addiction. Um, I mean, that's closing out on that. I mean, as far as set a date for a goal today,
Hmm.
that's it. It's today. Uh,
Exactly.
did you make a plan to achieve the goal? I mean, that's one thing I'll. It's not that I go against the title of the question. It's the fact that, yeah, everybody makes plans to achieve their goal, but nobody makes plans to fail at their goal. And that right there is everything to me because failure is the opportunity to overcome, to learn to adjust, to be humble and seek help, get help. It's the failure, achieving failure or failing to achieve it's a blessing in disguise. It opens up a pathway that not only opens up your mentality, your mindedness to achieve your goal, but it also makes you aware of what it is to lose and not give up or not surrender, and so on and so forth. So it's important to learn to plan to fail. And I don't know if you want to take on that, but that's my
Yeah,
take on that.
it is pretty big. Like I like to always relate to people that are UFC fighters, and maybe they had their chance at a title shot and they lost, and they came back and they had their chance again and they lost. And I think it's really important to lose in order to win, and sometimes the process of failure must repeat itself in order for you to succeed. And it's that will to succeed and not giving up no matter how many times it takes to achieve that goal. You have to be willing to take some hits. um and yeah, so when I look at it, it says, did you make a plan to achieve this goal? Like, what is your plan? What's your process? How are you going to do it? How are you going to get there? And this intersects with everything that we talked about. Are you motivated? Do you have good people around you? Are your goals realistic? Did you set a date for your goals? Like, the process of all these goals within the goals, like you said, are so important to make this achievable. You have to have a process, you have to have the people. More or less, you have to have yourself and your mind right to make these goals achievable. And I don't really have anything else to cover left on this, but is there anything you kind of want to go into with goals, and maybe personal goals, or someone like, what is a goal? Here, we'll do this. What is a goal that in your life, that any age, that seemed impossible for you to achieve but you always wanted to do? I have a goofy one. I can start off if you want.
Yeah, start it off while I give it some thought. Cause damn, I've had a lot of goals, but yeah, go on.
Mine is, dude, mine almost, it goes back like when I was 16 and we met, and I figured it would be kind of funny to pull that one up. So me and Jovan met online on a video game, and we've been friends for, I don't even know, is it like almost 20 years now?
Damn,
Yeah. So
yeah, probably like
basically,
20 something.
I tell you what, man, I hated school. But one thing I love doing is playing video games. And when we were playing games together on Fear Combat, and things like that, and the only reason it strikes my mind right now is it's because it's kind of like simple and it's about us. So I figured I'd bring that up. But I was obsessed. And obsession is like a real thing on chasing goals, let me tell you. I was obsessed with being the best at this game that I was playing. Um, it's old, so most people probably won't know it. But if you ever heard of like First Encounter Assault Recon, it was one of the first few games that came out and had like an online to it. And back then, that online was like hosted from your computer. It had no designated servers at first until things pushed along a little bit further into the internet. But I was absolutely obsessed with becoming the best. I didn't want anybody to beat me. I didn't want anyone to tell me that I was cheating. I wanted the approval of everybody, which was a serious problem and lackluster towards my life. It felt like at the time, was sitting there like, what is the opinion of other people? And that is like the last thing you want to sit there and think about when it came to having goals. But I was absolutely obsessed with becoming the best at it. And for a while, I feel like I had my time just like everybody does, and it's kind of weird. Like, you know how boxers or MMA fighters have their time? I had my time just like everybody else did. And there's going to come a time in your life that you're going to have a calling towards a specific goal. And I feel like you're only going to have that opportunity once, which is really weird. What do you think about that? Do you think your opportunity comes more than once towards something? I think everybody has a time.
Yeah, yeah, I'd agree with that. I mean, I think I'd condense it a little more to everybody's got their quirk, as in some people are born to be leaders, you could say, or have a tendency to be good with decision making. One quote that I came across a while ago, which I thought was great. I think it was a Walking Dead quote
Ooh,
or something in subject of Walking
I
Dead,
love quotes.
but it said, in a time of desperation or in hard times in life, look for the calmest person. That's your leader. And I
Yeah,
thought to myself, damn, that's
that's
Rick. That's
huge.
so true. Rick, yeah, Rick. He woke up from a coma one day. He fucking casually just walks through the apocalypse, and he never strikes me as like what's it's a show, so I guess but just the demeanor of someone that could do that. That means that they're born to manage so much level of stress that they can't be broken. You can't snap those people into fear or anything. And Walking Dead is very well known for Rick never, ever, ever submitting to
Absolutely.
anyone, even after he loses everything or everyone. And that's how I would summarize that, is that some people have their calling and their quirk, and if you can find that quirk, and you commit to it, you'll see yourself through your destiny or your calling, as opposed to trying to do something that isn't your strength. Like I said, like if Rick tried being like Negan and and being a leader by hurting others or using fear to lead others, he wouldn't have the result in the show, where he gets them to paradise or whatever ends up happening, because I think it's still going. But those are two opposite characters that are leaders, but they use it in different ways. But like I said, Rick can never be Negan, and Negan can never be like Rick. So don't go
Absolutely.
against your nature.
Yeah. Yeah, which is really good to cover on. Like I love that show too. I always like quotes that come out of movies and things like that cuz you can you can relate to them. There was a lot of I don't know any off the
Yeah.
top of my
And
head at
one
the moment, but there was a lot of Game of Thrones quotes, man, that just blew my
Yeah, because
mind.
one thing I'll tell you, and this is how I'll kind of not necessarily close it out, but bring it back to what you brought up, which was the video game we met on. I remember when I first played it, obviously I didn't have experience in those kind of games. It was just a pastime, like you said. We were going through our childhood and so on. But I remember Vash. There was a guy called Vash, and he was very well known for being a great player at the time. I mean, at the start of the game.
Hmm.
But anyways, I remember he would whoop me left and right every time I got on. And this doesn't, like I said, you're either born with this or you're not. But at no point was I ever like, oh, this guy's an asshole. I wasn't mad. I think I more or less, every time he beat me, somewhere along the end of the match, I type on the group chat, on the game chat, and I'd be like, one day I'll be greater than I can be, just to destroy you. And then I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna do it again and again and again until I break you. And point
Did
is, long
you?
story short, obviously, yeah. I not only did I beat him over time, because I also got good at the game, but he ended up joining the clan because we took over the goddamn game to such a high level that we were everywhere. You know what I mean? And like I said, at the time, you know what I mean, I didn't go into the game trying to be the best or not or whatever, but someone was there to try and put me down, and as a result of my nature, I stood up to him, which then led to my current nature, which is I lead. That's my quirk. I'm supposed to lead groups of people so that they can achieve their goals or whatever they want to do in video games and so on and so forth. But nobody told me to do that. I didn't have to stand up to him. I just decided to let him know that that's the way I saw things in the future, and it would come to be, because there's no stopping it. I'm gonna get better whether he likes it or not. And yeah, he ended up being part of our team one day.
I remember. I remember like Doom and all those guys too. I don't know why the hell you let
Right.
Twisted Fate or whatever. What the hell was his name? Twisted or
Yeah,
what was that
Twisted. He
guy?
was like this nerdy kid. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Like a lot of those guys, like you let a lot of people in. I always got salty about it because I like having a tight niche group or whatever. And like there was a bunch of people jumping in by the end. There, we got like so well known that like people were taking our name tags all the time, and they couldn't do the backwards R. So you did that on purpose so they couldn't impersonate us, and they'd
Right.
put like
Right.
the wrong R in there and shit. Like, oh,
Yeah, that's how we knew. That's how we knew they were imposters.
yeah.
Because I only taught the tightest, the highest level of our team how to put the backward R. Because that was also my way of measuring who was worthy of wearing something that can't be replicated, or at least like easily known about. So yeah, even that was meticulously planned. Because I was like, I need to do something that no one can replicate.
I think it is good to sit there and kind of talk about that because that was like a really well formed together group. And I think that goes into things like with goals and stuff, even if it's just a video game. Like, I play video games a lot and I have all the same friends. We've never stopped being friends. But every weird thing is everybody in my personal life that I've been friends with, I ain't friends with them anymore. I don't know why. They just kind of like come and go and then they never stick around. But every single game friend that I've ever made that I've kept, they've always stayed around. But yeah, like I tell you, like having the right people around you is huge. Like, I would have never, I don't know where I would have went in the game if we would have never met, but I was going somewhere. Like, I was obsessed with the game. I was just kind of like playing it, and it just kind of went from there. But is there anything you want to kind
Yeah.
of like finish
And
up on for this subject?
yeah, so I'll finish up on this. So we'll keep it in that same subject, the video game and the
Mm-hmm.
goals there. I mean, simple stuff that you're just even as a child, like I said, you'll know right there and then. Are you someone that submits? Are you someone that stands up to someone that wants to put you down? I mean, you're gonna just pay attention to how you react to things, and that's how you know what your nature is. What's your nature? If you can find that and commit to it, you just kind of keep pursuing that, and it's gonna take you somewhere because you're respecting what you're designed and born to be good at, I guess you could say. But anyways, this is what I'll end with. So obviously, like I said, I mean, I don't necessarily play video games anymore or particularly lead, but when I last did a couple years ago, I still put the team together, Mortal Kombat, whatever. And at some point, um, I just didn't want to do it anymore. I was like, okay, I feel like I've done it to a point where I'm satisfied. I'm content with everything I've achieved. We have a lot of great players. They became pros, whatever. But came along someone that was eager to join the team and he wanted to be good, but he wasn't that good. And I think I spent a whole year just telling him, hey, just learn to think outside the box, try this different button, like super practical, like little things. And yeah, with no hesitation, he'd try to do it. Anyways, long story short, this guy never came to be a great player, never became a pro, whatever. But he did ask me, and at the time it was a couple leaders in the clan. He asked us if he could become a leader too, because he was so devoted to the team, and he interacted with people, and he was a very well known teammate.
Was it?
And his name is Martian. He's like really new.
Oh,
He's not from our childhood.
I
But
know. I
point
know.
is
I just wanted to kind
point
of give
is
them a name.
he took yeah, Martian. So Martian took over the clan, and that's what I'm gonna close out at is, all right. You find your quirk, you commit to your nature, you follow it all the way through, and if one day you're like, okay, I achieved this goal, I mean, it's okay. Now what? Like if you're content and you're no longer happy or something's missing, and you achieve that goal, okay, on to the next one. That's just it. You keep
Exactly.
on doing more things and more shit because you're going to probably be alive for, I don't know, 80, 100 years in your life. You might as well do a bunch of random shit. Why not? And so that tells me that Martian was never supposed to be the greatest. He was never supposed to show up one day and be like, I'm the shit. I should be leader. He never opposed me. He never anything. All he did was said he loved the team. He wanted to be a part of it. I decided to kind of give him a couple thoughts here and there, but it didn't matter because all that really was supposed to happen is he was supposed to become a leader because that's his gift. Because people love to talk to him. He lends himself to talk to them, and that's what a leader is. If you can build a community and those people respect you in that community, you are their leader.
Yeah.
That's all they need with something as simple as just giving people a listening ear and giving them some advice or whatever, great or not just anyone can do that. And that's it. I passed the torch. That's it. I fulfilled that goal casually throughout life. It's not something I thought about or cared about. but I saw it through. And then when I did, I was like, okay, it's time to pass it on. And then life opens itself up, and there it is. Someone else took over.
Yeah, it's kind of like following like a life path, or it's kind of weird how those things happen because another pulls out, another comes in, kind of thing. But everybody does have like their calling with stuff. Like you said, you're meant to be a leader or put a kind of stuff like that. And when I'm thinking about, well, what are the things with me? And I always feel like I was meant to like motivate people or like bring people up to see like their best versions of themselves. I don't necessarily like being a leader because there's too much of an expectation there. I've come to realize I thought I would be somebody that was going to be like a boss. I've been a boss several times in jobs, but I don't like the term boss at all. Like I don't like to be in charge of people because I realized if you don't do it in a recreational type way like football teams and stuff like that, um people don't like to be led in work, man. They just don't. But when it comes to like sports and teams and things like that, everybody loves a leader. Or video games, everybody loves a leader. Or Twitch streamers, everybody likes a certain Twitch streamer. And it's almost like you have this expectation of they're going to be there tomorrow. Like, I had a bad day. I want to go watch a specific streamer. And I know he'll be on that day. Well, it's like when they go on that day, it's like their whole, and they're not there. It's like their whole world falls apart almost. Like, oh wow. So these things on the screen are extremely important because you will get lost without it. I'm telling you. Um. Anyways, we'll end right there with this topic. We can go into something else after I close out the video if you want. If you guys like this video, we're trying to engage with the community and we're growing the YouTube channel. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you might like listening to. If you like the podcast, just anything kind of helps us out. So thank you guys very much for tuning in. Until next time.